Hey everyone, thanks for joining. So this is the first in a series of webinars we're going to run on new features in the BNGAI platform. So just first a little bit of housekeeping for this. So I'll be running the demo shortly onto the platform. And I think just post in the chat. But yeah, if you have any questions as I go, please post them in the Q&A tab or ask them at the end, and I'll do my best to answer them all. So yeah, a little bit about me. So I'm Sam Kendray. I've been at AiDASH for 2 years now. My background's ecology consultancy, and I've spent the last 2 seasons kind of running the field team here. So running live projects for clients using the product and developing features as I go. And then this year I've moved into ecology solutions consultant role. So in this role, I'm working directly with our product team to provide the ecology input into new features, and working alongside clients to ensure that their kind of needs and requirements are met by the product. So for today's session, I'm going to do a quick demo of the portfolio dashboard. So this is a relatively new feature on our product. And at the moment, it's accessible to enterprise clients. And yeah, this view allows a view of your whole estate in one go. So I'll share screen and kind of do a talk through of that. Okay, so you should be able to see the portfolio view on my screen now. So this view gives you a number of metrics. So you can see along the top here, you've got your total estate-wide area habitat units, total hedgerow and total watercourse units, number of projects, and the total area of your estate. There's also an indication of how many sites have sensitive issues. So this relates to irreplaceable habitats, very high distinctiveness habitats on site, or being within 500 meters of a designated site. In the next round of updates, there's going to be portfolio value. So this will give you an estate-wide value of the units, and that's going to be based off the statutory credit costs, and just to give the user some indication of the total value of their estate. Within this view, you can sort of manipulate your data to view different metrics. So this one is the whole estate, but I could filter by business unit. So this is a dummy site, but if you filter to business unit B, I can see that this is how many units are within there, and all the same metrics will show for the relevant unit. At the moment, that's just business units, but soon you'll be able to tag whatever tags you'd like to apply to kind of filter subsets as you require. So if I carry on down here, you've got kind of a status update of your whole portfolio, and you've also got a map view just to give some indication of where all your projects are. And you'll be able to click onto your site and view that relevant project within the platform. A bit further down on here, you've got a little bit more detail. So this is the total area for the site, the units, and then a breakdown of how much that equates to per hectare. And obviously with the relevant filters, you could see how that affects different business units, for example. And then down here, this is your top 5 projects. So just breaking that data down further. So you've got your kind of biodiversity density, and that's ranked by area habitat for this table here. And then this is some more detail onto those risky sites or potentially risky sites. So you've got your 3 irreplaceable habitat sites marked here, and you've got your 5 sites with the very high distinctiveness here. So for someone managing a larger estate, this can be a really useful tool to just kind of spot where the potentially risky sites are. Some of our clients use this for due diligence stage, so they might have a number of sites that they're considering to kind of acquire and go further with. And these sort of filters can give a really quick view of, okay, I can see maybe these 8 sites aren't the most sensible for us to continue with. Or it might be that this site's got really high biodiversity unit density. Depending on what type of developer they are, that's probably could be a problem for them if it's got a really high baseline, or if you're a habitat bank, you might be seeing some nice potential habitats to enhance. And then down here, you've just got a visual representation of how this either business unit, or in this case, the whole estate, is broken down by its top habitats. From here, you're able to export as well. So you can export just the CSV file with all the detail from the site, either specific sites or the entire estate. And another cool feature is you can analyze with AI. So this is kind of a chatbot that I imagine everyone's familiar with chatbots at the moment. And this works in the same way. You can use kind of normal language, but just to point out that this only has access to the sites in your portfolio. So it's not open to the internet, it's still confidential data. We've also got kind of suggested prompts over here. So for example, one I ran earlier is which habitats have the richest biodiversity? And you can see kind of what habitats you've got across your estate. And again, it's for those estate managers or potentially ecologists working on these projects, start to give that breakdown of what you're dealing with and easier ways to manipulate the data. You can also run prompts like which sites were ground surveyed. This is a demo project, so not many have been ground surveyed. And I'll just let that run. Another useful tool on here is got the help button, so I'll let that run in the background. So at the top of the screen, and this is the same across the platform, you've got this kind of help button. And from here, you've got a help page that should cover a lot of what I've been talking about and help guide anyone that is using this feature. So we've got a number of future updates planned for this as well. So at the moment, this is just your baseline habitats, but soon this is going to have your kind of post-development plans as well. So similar to this, you might have your sites and how they're performing in terms of reaching their 10% or whatever target it is that you have. And again, for larger estates, this could be an easy way to see how their unit balance is across the whole estate and how maybe one site's got a surplus of units that could potentially be used to try and offset some of the damage elsewhere. So it's just to give that high level view at the planning stage as well. And just that is my demo, I believe. So I'll just see if there's any questions from anyone. So I can see someone's asked, is the chatbot available to everyone? So the chatbot is available to anyone who's got the portfolio view. So at the moment, that portfolio view is just for enterprise users, but it is something that can be discussed. Yeah, so it comes with the portfolio view as standard. So if you've got that view, then you will be able to use that chatbot. And we're kind of always adding additional features to it. Is it possible to migrate data into the system so that it can be used, i.e. historical data? Sorry, just reading that question. Historical data, I'm not sure on that question. It relies on the data within the BNGAI system. So if you've got a baseline on the BNGAI system, then you'll be able to see that. I'm not sure if that answers the question. Can you see a breakdown of irreplaceable habitats across the portfolio? So at the moment on the dashboard view, that breakdown comes in the form of the table I shared earlier. I can share screen again. So that comes. So the breakdown at the moment is the kind of flag here. So you'd have your list of sites that have those irreplaceable habitats, and then you could go into your project tab for the relevant project and find the detail. In the next round of updates, you should be able to kind of click from here straight to the project to save that middle step. But that's how I would be looking for those irreplaceable habitats. So a question, how would this work for an agri-food company looking at biodiversity across their supply base? Can improvements be made by individual farm? Yeah, so I think that sounds, Adam, I think that sounds like more of a question for the future update with the planning functionality. So at the moment within the platform, you're able to make as many kind of post-development plans for your site as you like. And if you've got a CAD file or equivalent to upload, that can be uploaded. And then you can run multiple scenarios from that. And then the future update to this portfolio will then show kind of the estate-wide, say, demo site 32, how's its post-development plans looking. And it will say 10% on the area habitats, minus 15 here, site 34, give you that breakdown here. And you'd then be able to go into those individual projects and create new scenarios for each of those as required. Just checking if that answers that question. Hopefully that answered that one, Adam. So back to the question around migrating historical data, you can see that if it's paper records, I mean, the best approach to that would be to run the site through our system, and then you're able to manually update all of that baseline survey data on our platform, either using the app or using the platform itself, and then that would reflect whichever historical data it is on here. How are sites mapped on the platform, manual input or automated? So in terms of the platform itself, you'd submit a red line boundary, and then we'd automate the prelim report from that. So that would be our remote sensing and AI model would run across your red line boundary, and that would give an initial indication of habitat type and condition. And then in relation to the portfolio view, that would show in here as an individual project. And that can be field surveyed using the field app. What is the current turnaround time for loading and mapping post-development habitats? Liam, is that in relation to kind of uploading a CAD plan equivalent, or? I think it basically our turnaround time on that should be within a few days, but obviously it depends on what sort of scale of site we're talking about, and what type of plan. So we've got, what am I trying to say? We've got our data requirements for CAD plans or post-development plans on the platform. So if it meets our data standard, then that obviously will speed up that delivery time. Do you need a shapefile to create a baseline assessment, or can I draw it manually? You can draw it manually. Shapefiles or CAD files are more geospatially accurate, so they're preferred just to ensure that that boundary is an exact match for what's required. But if it isn't a PDF or equivalent, it can be done. Yeah, I think that answered that one. Is there a limit to the number of projects which can be saved into your portfolio? I'm not aware of a limit. So some of our clients have sort of hundreds of projects within. And I mean, that's kind of one of the key values or the key drivers for this portfolio view is for larger clients looking to see that estate-wide view. So no, I'm not aware of a limit. Yeah. How do I group projects into business units within the portfolio? So to group them into business units at the moment, I believe that's a request made to us when the project is made, and they're all assigned in the back end. In the next update, which should be this month, you'll be able to kind of assign your own tags to the projects, which will give kind of this equivalent filter view, but for whatever tags you're using. So that should make that kind of a smoother process for the user, and a more give you more options to manipulate your data however you like. I think that's all the questions in there for now, unless anyone else has a question. Oh, got one more. Is there a percentage accuracy when translating red line boundaries into habitats? I'm not 100% sure on that question, but in relation to, I assume this is more in relation to when we run our models over the habitat, the red line boundary, the accuracy of that initial assessment, in which case it's usually around the 95% mark, but it obviously dictated partially by the types of habitat. So some habitats are less well surveyed and harder to do, but as a rule, it's around the 95% mark. Okay, I think that looks like all of the questions for now. If anyone else has any questions or equally any feedback on these sessions, please email us. We'll be following up after this. I'm happy to help.